Top 10 richest countries in Africa. Even though many of the world's poorest nations are in Africa, because numerous African economies are unstable and poverty is widespread. And even the fight against terrorist insurgency puts further strain on the economy. Despite these challenges, Africa's 54 countries include some of the fastest growing economy in the world, as Africans are starting to catch up with the rest of the world technologically. Well, in this video, I will be sharing with you the top 10 richest African countries. But before we continue, please hit the red subscribe button to join the family and turn on your bell icon so you can get notified each time we drop interesting content on this channel. If you have subscribed, welcome to the family, and thank you to all my amazing returning subscribers. While there are several ways to compare various nations' wealth, one of the best methods is to evaluate each country's gross domestic product. This is the value of all the goods and services produced by a nation in a given year. Without wasting your time, let's get into the main video. Top 10 richest countries in Africa. With a GDP of $66.49 billion. This is actually one of the African countries with the biggest reserves of natural resources. With so much raw materials, this country can further hire, but it has experienced a series of mismanagement and corruption, just like a few other countries. After their civil war ended in 2002, major steps have been taken towards the growth of the economy. Angola's economy is based on oil with natural gas and oil reserves. Crude oil sales account for 90% of the country's export revenue. They also export notable things like cargo ships and diamonds. With 70.99 billion GDP, with the largest economy, the country has been steadily growing. Agriculture has always been the economy backbone, as it is the largest cocoa grower, and well as a major exporter of coffee and palm oil. Its offshore oil and natural gas deposits are also large, and the increased government investment in education and infrastructure has led to the growth of the manufacturing industry. With an ever-growing GDP of over 70 billion, Ghana is a country filled with so many natural resources. Ghana is naturally blessed with raw materials like gold, cocoa bean, timber, and more. Petroleum accounts for 50% of foreign exchange in Ghana. Due to its overall favorable business environment, Ghana has attracted international investment and has grown massively in the last 2 years. Gold is the country's main export. Aside from being one of the oldest countries in Africa, it is also one of the richest in the continent. These ancient countries are the originators of coffee beans and also the highest producers of honey and other products like oil, seeds, and cut flowers. In Ethiopia, agriculture, construction, manufacturing, tourism, food processing, resources, and energy account for the country's net worth of 93.97 billion GDP. The sixth richest African country I have here is Kenya. Today, Kenya is one of the most famous countries in East Africa for their wonderful wildlife reserve and huge landscape which attracts tourists from far and wide. With a net worth of $106 billion. Kenya's agricultural sector handles 35% of the country's wealth, producing products like coffee, maize, tea, and more. For centuries, its coastline has served as a key port for Asian and Arabian traders, transforming Kenya into a regional trading powerhouse. The fifth richest African country I have here is Morocco. Morocco sits at number 5 with a total net worth of a whopping $120 billion, as its economy is one of the most stable. Morocco is the second non-oil nation to have made it to the top list. Over the last decade, They have experienced significant growth in various sectors and industries. Their economy fully relies on its manufacturing industries and its mining sector. Other areas are agriculture, service, and tourism. Morocco has lots of attraction which tourists come to visit. Morocco is the largest producer of phosphorus in the world. They also benefit greatly from exportations of products like electrical tools, vehicles, and more. Their telecommunication industry and their textile industry also bring in lots of revenue for the nation. The fourth richest African country I have here on my list is Algeria. Apart from being one of the richest countries in Africa, Algeria is also the biggest country in the continent with $151.46 billion. The country is blessed with crude oil reserves, and its economy relies solely on them, as 70% of the country's wealth comes from crude oil. Agriculture, industrial activities, commercial services, and construction are some of the other industries that make up Algeria's economy. The third richest African country I have here is South Africa. South Africa, with a highly developed economy, good infrastructures, and a net worth of over 320 billion. South Africa is considered one of the world's fastest developing countries in Africa. South Africa makes so much money from the tourism sector. Having so many beautiful places, this country surely attracts people from far and wide. South Africa is one of the largest exporters of platinum. Aside that, South Africa is also blessed with coal, diamond, and iron. South Africa is the only African country which generates revenues through diverse means in a balanced way, as it does not rely on a single source of income. Mining, manufacturing, financial services, and tourism are all important industries in the country. The second richest African country I have here is Egypt. Egypt remains the oldest nation in Africa. Right from the days of Pharaoh, this country has continued to remain a rich nation. Egypt has a GDP of 394.28 billion. Even though the economy of Egypt was harmed after maintaining the richest African country for so many years, well, over the recent days, its economic activities has increased and stabilized as the country's unemployment rate have decreased. Petroleum and natural gas exports, tourism, hotel and retail trade, construction, and real estate are all important aspects of the Egypt economy. At number one as the richest country in Africa is Nigeria. Surely the giant of Africa, with over 200 unique ethnic groups in Nigeria and a population of 211 million people, Nigeria has a GDP of 514.5 billion. Nigeria is one of the diversified countries in Africa. However, due to political instabilities and despite going through several crises, corruption, and troubles, Nigeria has managed to remain the richest country in Africa. The huge wealth in Nigeria is actually a reality due to the abundance of natural gas and crude oil. Nigeria is blessed with several natural resources like gas, crude oil, limestone, coal, zinc, iron, and more. According to OPEC, Nigeria records close to 2 million barrels of crude oil per day, and this makes Nigeria the largest exporters of oil in Africa. As a whole, which is the major contributor to the country's wealth. There is also enough fertile area for agriculture. Agriculture accounts for 20% of the country's wealth, as it is also one of the major producers of cocoa and rubber. Nigeria has also risen in its IT sectors. Okay, guys, we're coming to the end of this video. Please leave in the comment section what you think about this video, what you think about these African countries, and do you think Nigeria should have maintained number one on the sport? Leave a comment in the comment section, and please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and turn on your bell icon so you can get notified each time we drop interesting content on this channel. Thank you so very much, and God bless you. Bye.